If you're a tech seller that's struggling to be remembered by their customers, then you need to understand this marketing fundamental concept called positioning and mindshare. And it's all about living rent-free in your customer's head. In this free technology sales lesson, we're going to go through the concept of positioning and mindshare, how you develop these positions in your mindshares in your customer's brain, and why it's so important to develop a personal brand to ensure that you have positioning and mindshare, standing out from the crowd and securing more deals. Now, if this is your first time hearing from me, my name is Jamil Raymond. I'm the founder of Tech Sales Academy. I'm a former 2x top 1% account executive at Cisco and Telstra Enterprise. In Cisco in 2023, I was their #1 mid-market AE worldwide, and now I've transitioned to teach technology sales to the next generation of non-technical people just like myself, and there's a couple of vendors there that seem to think I do a pretty good job. All right, so let's have some fun. So, the first concept that you need to understand is about positioning. Okay, we are competing for position in our customer's mind. That is a concept called mindshare, which we'll go into in a sec. But ideally, you want to be the first thing, the #1 position in your customer's head when they think about your technology, your brands, your solutions. Okay, it's extremely important that you are there first, because as the great Rocky Bobby says, if you're not first, you're last. And let's explain. So the other concept we need to understand is mindshare. Okay, this is about being in your customer's brain. This is about being recalled. Very similar to the concept, if a tree falls down in the woods and nobody hears it, did it make a sound? Very similarly, if you have a solution and your customer doesn't think of you, does it even exist to begin with? And with mindshare, it's an empathetic understanding that we're busy. We process 70,000 thoughts a day. If you've got ADHD like me, it's probably a lot more than that. But the idea is when you are recalled, when you are thought of for whatever technologies or solution that you come forth, or even your brand of who you are as an individual, you need to be a positive thought. You need to be in there, and every time they think of you, they think, man, that's a good person, right? So why is it important that we fight for this position and build that space rent-free in our customers' heads? Because the first position brands or solutions in customers' minds are the most likely to be bought. Okay, in the B2C world, there's studies that show that the first position brand can be bought, so the likelihood is up to 50 to 60% more. In B2B, those numbers aren't as realistic, but again, it gives you a significant advantage of what the customer thinks about when it comes to the solution. And why is it so important and why is it so useful for the customers? Because these customers, it's about familiarity. It's about a trusted brand. It's about mitigating the risk that they have in getting a new solution. Usually, if you're thought of first, they've had a positive brand association. You know, it's either a really good one or a really bad one. We're aiming for the very good ones here. And it's also about convenience, right? If you've had that good experience, it's a brand that you trust, or it's a person that you trust, it's a lot better for the customer to not have to go around to different organizations and figure out if the salesperson is trustworthy or not. It's much easier to go, that's my go-to person, all right? And why it's so important to understand this, especially for us as individual tech sellers, is a fundamental concept of the sales universe is that people buy from people, okay? You know, we've been leveraging personal brands for years. We understand this inherently through celebrity, through influencers. Even when you have an intangible product like insurance with the Geico lizard or bug spray in Australia with Mortein, we humanize the brand by creating these mascots that are a bit humanized themselves to give some concept of what the brand actually is. And more recently, founder brands like Richard Branson there used to be aspirational. We wanted to aspire to go towards these brands, but now it's a lot more personal, right? We were trying to understand these people as human beings to create that layer of trust to then buy their products, their services, etc. Okay? So this is why it's so important. One of the biggest fundamentals that I teach at the Academy is that you are the business. You are not the McDonald's employee. You are not asking if you want fries with that. You are not the order taker. You are an order creator, okay? You are the business. Realistically, instead of you representing your tech company, it's your small business and who you are. I like to say like a cafe mentality, right? A personalized, singular service, and your business behind you is the tech organization that you work for, right? It's an important reframing perspective that's useful for you and for the customer. A great example of that is the way that you are perceived by your customer in their head, okay? You don't want to be known as just the Cisco person, for example. When customers look at me, I don't want to just be the Cisco guy or the Telstra guy. What customers should be thinking about me, what I aim for with every customer, is they go, hey, that's Jamil. He works for Cisco. He's really helpful, right? That shift of company to human, then human to company is very important because it shows the personalization of who you are. That's how you stay memorable in your customer's head for years and contracts to come, okay? So how do we build this brand and develop mindshare? Well, there's actually a great social framework here called the trust formula. And marketers and advertisers use this fundamental formula over and over again in advertising, in content, to build trust in the brand. And that formula is trust equals frequency plus familiarity, okay? What does that mean? So brands, right? Personal brands, company brands, they are human perceptions that are developed through repetition. Repetition of information that you give to them that creates a pattern recognition of what we understand about you, what is the familiar points, what are the commonalities that you have. Those behaviors are repeated over and over again. The frequency of that then often reinforces the perception of what that brand is. And then eventually, if you've got a good brand and you've been working on it and you create something of value, customers will want to exchange their money for your goods and services because you've built trust by building consistency in who you are and what you do. So how do we as tech sellers use this brand and use this trust formula? Okay, so we build trustworthy brands by showing up to the customer and doing trustworthy and valuable things. So to become a trusted technology advisor, you got to show up. You have to show up frequently, and every time you show up, you're adding a little bit more value to every interaction, right? You are showing up and creating this behavior that every time you come into the customer's world, something gets better, a little more value is delivered, problems get easier, until you stack up enough of those behaviors for them to go, this person's really valuable, this person's trustworthy, I want to do business with them more, okay? So to summarize here, we want to get into first position. We have to be constantly thinking about the position we have in our customers' brains when it comes to relationships, opportunities, everything, okay? Because we want to do that with that first position, we are in the driver's seat to win the opportunity, maintain the customer relationship for long term. To do so, we need to make sure that we remember that people buy from people. So we need to have something that sticks out about us as personal resources, as personal connections, rather, to develop that mind share to live rent-free in our customers' heads. And we can do that by using this trust formula, showing up frequently, adding value with every interaction. Okay, so that's it for this week's lesson. If you want more tech sales tips like this that cover the people side of tech, sales psychology, emotional intelligence, communication, soft skills, I've got over 30 free lessons for you here. School.com/Tech Sales Academy, completely free, hours of content. I'll see you in there. Ciao for now.